WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. For the third time in just over a year, a furniture plant in Pontotoc County is burning.
Late this afternoon, firefighters responded to the American Furniture plant. Our Allie Martin is live in Pontotoc County. He joins us now with the latest. Allie?
Yes, it is an active scene here at American Furniture in Pontotoc County. I'm going to step out of the way just a little bit. I'm actually standing on top of a pickup truck. You can see behind me, though, that is the warehouse here at American Furniture. It is full of finished goods, finished product that is made here in Pontotoc County. The fire was reported about an hour and a half ago. The fire is contained to the warehouse. Everyone got out safely, all the employees. There's fire departments from about 12 different departments here. Of course, Pontotoc County EMA is here. You may recall, too, within the past 13 months, this is the third fire here at American Furniture. We can also report, too, that they are talking to a person of interest. At least one person was seen running from the scene when the fire started, so they are talking to that person. Right now, they're going to let this fire, though, burn out. Nobody has been hurt, and we will continue monitoring the situation. For now, we're in Pontotoc County. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Allie, thanks so much. And we should get more from our Quentin Smith coming up tonight at 9 and 10.
All right, time to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson with a first look at our forecast.
Right now, a live view from downtown Louisville, Mississippi. Look at this gorgeous sunset, a little bit of twilight. Not too bad here weather-wise today. We've had some clouds, mild temperatures. We are still looking at some upper 50s, the mid-50s, to even a few low 60s across parts of the region. Now, temperatures for the most part holding in the 50s this evening. Clouds will fill back in. We may see a shower or two later on tonight, but most spots stay dry, lows into the 50s. Rain chances going up for the next couple of days. Your full forecast is coming up.
Monroe County deputies made 3 more arrests in a bogus check cashing scam, which could involve at least a dozen people. 25-year-old Xavier Ford and 29-year-old Nichelle Hill, both of Aberdeen, and D'Angelo Montez Harris of Columbus are charged with uttering forgery. 3 men were arrested yesterday in this same investigation. Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says a suspect is paying random people hundreds of dollars to cash a check. The man then drives away with his cut of the money, which is more than $1,000. There's also a bogus phone number on those checks, which tells the businesses that the checks are good. Cantrell believes at least 12 checks were cashed by 12 different people.
There was one that was back in their store cashing a check, and we went down and checked him out, and then we kindly put twos and twos together, and we figured out this was a scam pretty quick and so forth, and he was down there in the store basically trying to do the same thing these other folks had. For real, but it's all bogus.
Deputies say the price tag for this scam is close to $90,000 so far. There are more arrests expected.
The State Department of Health is echoing a national survey saying flu is rampant in Mississippi and is spreading fastest in people under 24.
Schools are also being hard hit because students are in close quarters. Well, there's another area where people are in close quarters, but sending them home is just not an option. Our Jory Talley joins us in the studio with more on that.
One area people don't think about the flu being a problem are the city and county jails. But prisoners get sick like everyone else, and because jailers must watch over them and care for inmates, fighting the flu is a struggle for the people in blue.
Confined spaces and people living in close quarters sounds like the ideal breeding ground for a flu outbreak. Unfortunately, it's also the perfect description of a county jail. So when the virus moves into the general population, it can be hard to stop. It's something Calhoun County Sheriff Greg Pollen has seen firsthand.
Last year during flu season, we probably had 10 or 15 inmates and probably 6 or 7 employees that had it last year.
That's why the staff is taking extra steps to make sure the jail is as clean as possible and to keep sick inmates and staff away from everyone else. Pollen says right now he has 1 deputy out with the flu and 1 sick inmate.
Last week we had one that came in with a cough, so we put him in isolation. You know, we are a small jail, so I'm not sure how effective that was, but I have not seen an increase in illness, or we have not had to take many to the doctor in the last couple of weeks. So knock on wood, we've been very fortunate. We haven't had to deal with that very much.
And he's thankful because when it happens and starts moving from inmate to inmate, it impacts the jail's day-to-day operations.
We would have the expense of taking care of the inmate, and then a bigger problem of trying to keep them isolated, which is not very easy in a jail setting. So yeah, it runs into an issue. And then you have employees coming in contact with those inmates on a regular basis. So it turns into a logistics problem real quick.
He says last year's experience with the jail's flu epidemic made everyone even more alert this year.
I think my jail staff has done a better job based on what happened to us last year of handling it. And like I said, so far it hasn't been much of an issue with us this year.
There are also several jails in our area also taking extra measures to prevent the flu from creeping into the jails.
Columbus leaders change a proposed 1% restaurant tax resolution. The special meeting was held this afternoon. Lawmakers called Mayor Robert Smith to ask him to change the language in the resolution. Specifically, legislators wanted the part about money being used for infrastructure and road improvements removed from the proposal. Now it states that money from the 1% tax would go to maintenance and operation costs of the Terry Brown Amphitheater.
Through the internet sales tax, when the legislators had met last year, most municipalities would receive some funds for paving.
The 1% tax is currently making its way through the legislature. If passed, there could be a citywide vote held. Now, this new tax would be in addition to the 2% tax that the governor has already signed into law.
When we come back, we meet some veterans who waged a war overseas and at home. Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our Black History Month series, Made by History. Ask any veteran and they will tell you there's a sense of pride that comes with putting on the uniform every time.
But for some who serve, there's a source of pain in the fabric of every stitch. This Black History Month, we spoke to some soldiers of color who served their country during a time when it didn't love them back.
I'm gonna make it. The law got me, and the level of hate, I just keep pushing on.
I decided that I'm gonna go in and make the best out of it. That's been my attitude in life always.
Both attitudes fit for a soldier. Private John Brown and Command Sergeant Major Johnny Johnson carried these mindsets with them as young men, not realizing their lives would one day depend on it during a difficult time in our nation's history.
I spent 30 years, 9 months, 12 days.
The very day Martin Luther King was murdered was my first day in the Army.
Between 1968 and 1970, both Brown and Johnson served in the Vietnam War.
We had dealt with being shot at daily and riding convoys where you had to, if one of your buddies got shot or somebody got killed in the convoy you was in, you had instruction to make sure you don't stop that convoy, that you kept that convoy moving.
For 8 months, Johnson, the young man in the photo with his fist in the air, rode convoys, carrying supplies on the ground, never knowing when the enemy would strike.
All along the way, we was attacked, and my job was, when I first arrived there, was to man the M16 machine gun. If I saw someone stick their head up, it was my job to make them put it down.
Brown also fought on the ground in the 1st Cavalry, assigned as a combat infantryman.
I walked around in Vietnam with an M16 looking for people to take out. That's what I did. I even walked point. That's the very first man that's out front of everybody else.
What happens next? Some would consider a miracle. Brown was shot August 5th, 1969, 3 times in the chest. A chopper soon came to his rescue.
They got me about halfway up, and the enemy started shooting at the chopper and me, and the chopper took off with me dangling under the chopper for a good little while, and then they pulled me on in.
While the battle was raging in Vietnam, another battle was being fought.
Philadelphia, Mississippi, you have to realize that it was some terrible times in the United States. People protesting against the Vietnam War, Martin Luther King marching and protesting. Boys was killed in Philadelphia, Mississippi because of the fact that people were trying to register down there.
Both soldiers fighting for America's freedom, while freedom fighters were on the front lines at home.
It was quite shameful. You know, here we are fighting a war for this country, and we being called a n***hood and the whole 9 yards, everything, and spit on, and it was a double standard for us particularly, being that we was Americans too.
A realization and pain that pierced many.
At night, I would hear him back there saying, "We're gonna get you, nigga."
This is a photo of retired Command Sergeant Major Chris Taylor, an M1 tank driver in 1970.
I was the only black kid in headquarters tank section, so I used to say, "Well, y'all come on. I guarantee you, somebody ain't gonna make it."
For Taylor, Brown, and Johnson, and so many countless others, determination is something that's skin deep.
In my mind, nothing gonna stop me.
No matter the shade.
If you work hard at any job you go in, I'm confident that you'll overcome all the racism, you'll overcome anything that you're dealing with.
Or color.
I'm a person that loves, and you can't beat love no matter what you do. We withstood, we're resilient.
Some inspiring stories there. While African Americans made up 10% of the combat forces in Vietnam, they accounted for nearly 13% of those killed in action.
Going back to that furniture fire in Pontotoc, it looks like we saw a little bit of that smoke plume via the correlation coefficient with radar. All of this blue right there, that could have been some of that smoke that was blowing on out of there earlier this afternoon. Your full forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Spring has sprung. Well, at least the Japanese magnolias are saying that. The blossoms about ready to perk on up. Noticed this earlier today. So it's that time of year, right, to start thinking about spring. What also comes in spring? How about baseball? Yes, the MSU home opener tomorrow, 4 o'clock. It looks like we'll be in the 60s here. Mainly cloudy. Can't rule out some showers by the end of the game. But it's looking decent, I think, for the home opener in Starkville. Same time, 4 o'clock in Oxford, we have the Ole Miss Wright State game. Now, there will be a slightly better chance for a few showers during the game there. 50s for the most part. It looks like maybe some low 60s to start off, but not really a washout for seeing tomorrow. Rain chances going on up, though, after tomorrow and into next week. And we may see some wet weather here as we get into next week that could really start to add on up, something to watch out for. Temperatures will be up and down as well. Right now we've got some mid-50s to upper 50s, even some low and mid-60s to our south. We had those thick clouds out there today. We just could not see a lot of sunshine that would have given us some warmer temperatures. You can see our time lapse from Tupelo. Southerly breeze, notice the flags right there in the foreground. Some of these clouds moving on through. Upper level moisture, but no rain actually hitting the ground in our area today. Let's talk about your Friday. We start out in the 50s, so a mild night tonight. Temperatures will not get below 50 degrees tonight. And we're looking at a day tomorrow where most spots will be in the 60s with a better chance for some showers during the second half of the day into the evening. Now, could there be a morning shower or sprinkle? It's possible. A little bit warmer here from Columbus down towards Louisville and Philadelphia. Back to the north we go. A little bit cooler for you, I think, up towards the Tennessee state line. maybe north of I-22. There's going to be a frontal boundary setting on up somewhere here in North Mississippi. That could focus a better chance for some rain initially up here. We'll see. And for West Alabama, 60s likely, winds from the south at about 5 to 15, a chance for some showers, especially during the second part of the day. Let me show you that with Futurecast. We have this front coming on in. It could squeeze out a shower or sprinkle in the morning, but the better opportunity during the second half of the day right here into the evening as that front hangs up initially, then we'll move on south tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. And that should clear out most of the rain for us for Saturday, even though we'll see some clouds linger. I think our Saturday won't be very wet. As we get into Sunday, rain chances return, and those opportunities for rain likely will continue into next week. And I mentioned the rain could add up. Yeah, we may see several inches of rain as we get into next week. So this potential goes through next Thursday, and there could be several inches here in the deep south. We'll be watching that, maybe for some flood potential. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. 60s for tomorrow, 50s Saturday, 60s return Sunday. Up and down temperatures next week, but we're really highlighting some heavier rain potential next week.
Lots of praise this week for Hell State hoops, but Vic Schaefer's bunch will try to block out the noise with another tough test tonight. More from the Dogs next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Mississippi State back inside the top 5 nationally in women's hoops, also projected as one of the top 4 seeds in the big dance come March. But a grueling schedule to finish the season for Hale State hoops. 4 out of the final 6 games against projected NCAA tournament teams, 2 of those on the road. Head coach Vic Schaefer says it's nice to be recognized, but the Bulldogs have bigger plans than projections.
We're just going to focus on climbing the ladder. We're not focused on getting to the top of the ladder right now. We're focused on each rung in the ladder. If we focus on each rung, we'll get to the top. But I think you start glaring at the top and you miss the steps in between, I think that's when you can stumble.
The grueling schedule beginning at home for Mississippi State. The Bulldogs with a late tip at 8 p.m. tonight taking on Missouri. The Bulldogs are 7-1 all-time against the Tigers, including a 57-53 win in Columbia a year ago. Ole Miss women's hoops in action taking on Vanderbilt. Tip-off at 7. Vandy has won 4 straight against Ole Miss. Rebels will look to snap a 5-game losing skid in SEC play. To West Lowndes for the Region 6 1A semifinal. Nanawaya facing Hamilton. Lady Lions start as fast as you can. First possession of the ball game. Victoria Harrison feeds Deidre Keaton inside. Uses the glass to finish the and one bucket. But then Hamilton on 11-0 run to start the game, but Warriors get on the board. Tana Thompson through the land of the Giants for the buckets, but then Hamilton turns up the pressure. Harrison with the steal makes it look easy with the coast-to-coast bucket. Then off the long rebound, it's Harrison one more time, leading the break. Finds Alexia Ware, strong take, takes the contact, shrugs it off, finishes anyway. Hamilton rolling in the first half, but the Lady Warriors continue to battle. Hannah Higginbotham with a strong drive of her own through the paint, gets the bucket to go, but Hamilton races to a W 55-20. Hamilton is off to the district title. They'll face the winner of West Lowndes and Vardaman. That's happening tonight. The district title game coming up tomorrow. But some more scores over at West Lowndes. The Panthers advance to the district championship game, defeating Knox Pater 72-41. West Lowndes will await the winner of Hamilton and Vardaman. Some other district tournaments in 1-2A. Ingomar squeaking past Walnut on the girls' side. They advance to face the winner of New Site and Baldwin. We'll have highlights of New Site and Baldwin coming up at 10. Also in 3-4A or 4-3A, Houston can't top South Pontotoc. The Lady Cougars get the win 54-38. They advance to face Nettleton and Hatley coming up tonight as well. Highlights all over the viewing area from Bruce, Okolona, as I just mentioned, from New Site. We'll have Ingomar boys, New Site and Baldwin. A lot of great stuff coming up at 10 right here on WCBI Sports. But we'll have a last forecast coming up next.
All right, we do have some showers that will be possible again tomorrow. Saturday's looking drier. And then some more, well, I mean, look at that 7-day forecast. We'll take that over what could happen next week with more rain potential here.
We're going to have gills by next Thursday.
I know, right?
Hey, what you going to do?
We're here.
Enjoy the Valentine's Day.
That's right. Good night.